Well, Wayne and I are back down on the creek where we got some good gold the other day. Excuse me, didn't mean to belch. Must be the cinnamon roll. Alright, and today, as you can see, we've got our material. We're doing mostly crack and crevicing, trying not to move too much material. But I've got the little California sluice box stream sluice set up here, just running perfectly. And we'll go on down the creek here a little bit to where Wayne and I are digging. And right here you can see the big crevices in the bedrock that Wayne and I are digging out right now. Wayne is working on this one. And going to the end, that's where he got that real nice chunker right at the end of the last video yesterday, or day before yesterday. And right now he is working down at the end of the bedrock and hoping that there's a drop down there that he can work. So he's getting on down and getting material out with a teaspoon. Make that a nice teaspoon that's got a nice long handle. You can get down to the bottom of the cracks and the crevices with it.
Curve in it.
And yes, he is he customizes his spoons. You can give the guy a fresh, brand new spoon, and the next minute, he will have a spoon that is with character. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so that's what we're doing. I'm working on this crack in the bedrock to really clean it out. Right down at the bottom of this crack, I found some more of that fractured bedrock that'll just absolutely crumble. You can pick it apart with your screwdriver or your fingers even. And I got one pan full of material from that. Ran it through the sluice because it was a whole pan full of material and I didn't want to mess with it. So now we'll get down to see what I got out of it. And let's look at that. Look at those nice pieces of gold showing up in there. Well, like I say, better actually pan it. Do a little backwash on it. Got a little too much water in the pan to do a proper backwash, but I'm just trying to mess with it here a little bit just to show you the gold. Alright, look at those nice chunky pieces of gold. Yep, lost one. Lost two. Alright, that's it. Time to get vicious with these things. Alright, I got the gold cleared out. And now I will eliminate the rest of the material. I got one little piece of gold that's trying to sneak its way out of there. Get over to the smooth side of the pan. And just gently persuade this stuff to head on out of there. Yeah, the stuff I found here is mostly flaked. There's a few little chunkers, but they're just pretty flaky and they tend to move around in the pan a little more than you would want them to. Yeah, that's good. In any case, There you can see the gold out of one pan full of material. And we're just hoping that the rest of the day looks like this. I'll drop this back down, get rid of it. And I have to apologize for my shakiness on the videos. I'm trying to take these things with a cell phone camera. I have always had a problem with tics and the shakes, and as a result, why I tend to be a little less steady than most people. Now, I do own tripods, many tripods. I was a professional photographer for 40 years, but setting up to do an entire quote-unquote professional video production is not something I am into at this point, mainly because I have to be digging and getting some gold at the same time. Otherwise, it takes all the fun out of hanging out at the creek. We'll come back here when Wayne runs the material he just got out of that big crack, or down at the end of the bedrock there, and see what he gets. Well, Wayne has run his material through the sluice, and that's material out of that big crack on top and down towards the end. Right now, he's classifying it. We classify it at plus and minus 20, which is the mesh of a standard strainer, kitchen strainer. And now it's time to see what the results are out of the bottom of that hole. It is absolutely a gorgeous day here in the Mother Lode. It must be, what, 78, 80 degrees, somewhere in there right now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, the grass is green, the birds are chirping. Life as we know it is good. I'm going to get a little closer here, and we'll just watch Wayne pan for a moment. And hopefully, we will see some mellow yellow gold show up. Right now, of course, he's using the riffle side of the pan. When he gets it down to a very small amount of material, we'll go ahead and change over to the smooth side of the pan and just very gently get all the rest of the lights off the heavies there, and swirl out, and hopefully we'll see some gold. Now, yesterday, Diane and I went down to the Civil War reenactment down in Mariposa. I guess it's the biggest Civil War reenactment west of the Mississippi, but it was very interesting, and it was held down on what used to be the land grant of John C. Fremont, who is a huge figure in California history, and a man that made a whole lot of money off gold in the gold rush. Alright, now Wayne's down to the smooth side of the pan. He's just very gently moving the lighter material off, and you can watch it as it runs down towards the edge of the pan and see if any gold is starting to try to escape, at which time you just lift the pan back out, shake it down, and we'll see. Alright. There's a lot of black sand here, and it's a medium black sand. I wouldn't call it a heavy black sand. Look at that gold. I can see gold from here on the corner of the pan. You're going to have a nice pan there, bud.
See a little bit.
Anytime you see gold in the corner of your pan, at this point, okay, it's time for the reveal. Let's sit in. Oh, baby, look at that. Look at that. That's some nice gold. You got a beautiful pan there, buddy.
It is a nice pan.
That is a very nice pan. Alright. And okay, so that's about what? Half hour, 45 minutes worth of work?
That's about it.
I would say that. And that is a nice return for the investment of labor. All right, well, suck that stuff up and let's take a look at your plus 20s and see if you got a chunker in there. Let's see that. Okay, there it is. There's all that nice gold. I sure wish I had a close-up lens on this camera. I'm gonna remedy that. I'm gonna MacGyver it.
Somebody suggested that in the remarks on one of the videos.
Yeah. Well, see, the fact that I use, or have been using the cell phone camera the last few times out just for the ease and portability of it. All right. The other cameras I have do have closer capabilities, but I think I can MacGyver a little close-up lens that'll stick over the objective lens here on the cell phone and allow me to take nice, sharp, clean close-ups.
Custom camera work, yeah.
Absolutely. They didn't call me Monterey MacGyver for nothing back in the old days, believe me.
You earned that name.
I earned that name with some of the wildest fixes you've ever seen. All right. Now, since we're looking for plus 20s, Wayne can be a little more aggressive with his panning, mainly because they're all going to be stuck down there at the bottom of the pan, if there are any. Come on, we haven't seen a plus 20 all day. I've got a nice pan, you've got a nice pan, but neither one of us has hit plus 20 yet. Come on, baby. Let's see something show. It's time. Oh, right there, sitting up at the top in the corner. There's the plus 20. Outstanding.
It's a nice little thicker, chunky.
That's a chunky little thing, too.
Yeah, it is.
That is way chunky. All right. Okay, well, now for the official. Yep, I heard the tink. It's worth the tink. Yep, that's it. Outstanding. Excellent.
Beautiful.
Okay, nice job by Wayne today. All right, well, Wayne and I are continuing, and I'm going to show you what I've done here in my little crack. And see where the tools are laying was the original crack. Right back here were two chunks of bedrock, and I've removed both of them. There was nice clay material in the cracks between the bedrock, so I've cleaned all that up. Right down in here, we're getting very, very nice looking material. Can't wait to pan this out. That's why I'm stopping what I'm doing, and even though that may be, well, basically just one classifier full of material, and I'm very, very carefully cleaning all this stuff off because that clay in there is what holds the gold against the bedrock. Now I'll clean all of this out, run it through the sluice, and we will see what life has in store for us as far as a gift from the gold gods. Wayne, on the other hand, just pulled a very, very large chunk of bedrock right off the point he's working, and he has a ton of gorgeous material. It's all clay and fractured bedrock. You can see him scraping it out right down to the bottom of that little V, and that looks very good. That's all I can say. I can't wait for him to run this material because I think he's going to be into the good gold. Well, Wayne is sitting here running the material that he got from that chunk of bedrock he pulled out, and I went ahead and ran the stuff I got from excuse me, my bedrock, those two pieces that I pulled out, and this just goes to show you that not every pan is an absolute killer, but at least we're getting some gold. I'm hoping you can see that. All right. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, basically 4 pieces of gold and some fly poop, but at least it's gold. Let's see if I can lift this up and get it someplace where we can actually see it. Okay. See? Now, we're spoiled. This is not what we would call a good pan, but it's a decent pan. It's when I say decent gold, it means we're getting gold about this quantity, you know, per pan, or in this case, per one classifier full of material. In any case, I will continue digging and moving around in there. I notice this time I seem to see a lot more very small gold, which means the gold that I was getting deeper into the crack in towards the bank appears to be the larger stuff. So we will find out on that shortly. And just because we're standing here, we will go over and watch Wayne feed his sluice for a second. So every once in a while when you're feeding the sluice, something sticks on that slick plate and kind of gets your blood pumping. You got some yucky old clay material. Have you seen anything go down?
I thought I saw a couple little flakes, but nothing significant.
Alright. Well, there's nothing more boring than watching a sluice work. So basically we will come back after Wayne gets his material panned out. Well, Wayne just finished panning out his minus 20s. And again, what we're getting, I don't know if you can see those too well. Yeah, there they are. Our specks, well, not specks, they're very small pieces and some fly poop. But again, this is one of those times when not every pan is a monster bonanza. However, we are getting gold, and that's what it's all about down here. Well, Wayne has headed up the creek to see if he can find a fresh crack to attack. In the meantime, I've been finishing cleaning up my crack, and this is a result of another about 2 scoops full of material that I accumulated from the bottom of that crack, the clays and the slightly decomposed bedrock down in there. In any case, we're looking at nicer gold again, which is great. I think it'll be interesting to see what Wayne brings back down the creek. Beyond that, we'll catch you in a minute. Well, Greg and Gary have shown up. They've been up at the claim, and they spent the weekend at the claim. This was a test of, you can see in the background there, the Coleman camping trailer there, the little pop-up, and it's a beautiful, beautiful little unit. All right. And Ray's here, Wayne's here, and there's Greg. All right. Hey, the smiling Greg. All right. So we're all sitting around in front of the garage, having a beer or whatever, right? A beer or a Sobe. And I decided to empty out my snuffer bottles that I've been collecting for the last few days. So let's go over here and see if we can find a spot where there's no horrible reflection, or maybe just a spot. Yeah, okay, fine. All right, that's the gold that we've got in the last, maybe 2 weeks. All right. You will probably recognize that one nugget in the center.
I use in my house, though.
That was a that was my smiley face day.